Every once in a while, an opportunity appears that most people can't see until it's already gone. The kind that looks small at first glance, but turns into something life-changing for those who recognized it early. Right now, that opportunity has a name. It's called XRP. And owning 3,000 XRP today might become one of the most important financial decisions you ever make. Not because of hype, not because of luck, but because the world is quietly building the future of money, and XRP sits at the center of it. This isn't about chasing price charts. It's about understanding what's coming next. Welcome back to Crypto Equation, where we break down the truth about crypto finance and the opportunities hiding in plain sight. 3,000 XRP. At today's prices, that number might not sound like much. It's an amount most people could easily overlook or dismiss, but that's exactly why it's powerful. Because when the majority can't see value in something yet, it means you're still early. And being early is how real wealth is built. Every major financial shift in history has rewarded those who acted before the rest of the world understood what was happening. And right now, the same story is repeating itself with XRP. The world's financial system is on the edge of transformation. For decades, we've relied on outdated infrastructure that moves money slower than data. It costs banks billions to send value across borders. It takes days to clear payments that should happen in seconds. XRP was designed to fix that problem once and for all. It's not just a cryptocurrency. It's a bridge asset that allows money to move globally at the speed of the internet. And the moment that technology becomes fully integrated into global finance, the price of XRP won't reflect speculation anymore. It will reflect necessity. That's the difference between hype and history. Most investors only see what's directly in front of them. They measure opportunity by the next week, the next month, or the next bull run. But real investors look at the next decade. They ask one question: what is the world building that it doesn't yet understand? And the answer right now is clear. The world is building digital liquidity, the foundation of the next monetary system. And XRP is the asset positioned to run it. Owning 3,000 XRP means owning a piece of that foundation before it becomes invisible infrastructure used by banks, governments, and corporations around the world. Think about how early we still are. The average person has never even heard of RippleNet or on-demand liquidity. They have no idea that central banks and financial institutions are already testing digital settlement networks that rely on XRP's technology. They don't know that Ripple has quietly partnered with over 300 financial institutions across the globe. They don't realize that every corridor tested today will become part of the rails that move money tomorrow. And when those rails go live, it will happen suddenly, not gradually. The system doesn't evolve slowly, it flips. That's when the revaluation begins. The window you have right now exists because the world still doubts. But doubt is always the greatest disguise for opportunity. People say XRP is too slow, too controversial, too uncertain. They said the same thing about the internet, about Amazon, about Bitcoin. Every breakthrough starts as disbelief. But when utility meets necessity, disbelief turns into dependence overnight. The same voices calling it worthless today will be the ones asking how to buy it later. That's why conviction matters more than noise. The opportunity to own 3,000 XRP won't last forever because supply is limited, and demand is coming. Institutions move quietly. They accumulate when no one's watching. When regulation settles and liquidity corridors open, they won't be buying in small amounts. They'll be buying billions because that's what the system will require. When that happens, the retail investor won't have time to react. The price will move too fast, and the world will look back and call it obvious. That's why right now is the most important moment you'll ever get. Because this is the accumulation phase, the phase that tests patience and rewards vision. Look at how history has treated early conviction. In 2010, a few $100s in Bitcoin could buy 10,000 coins. In 2015, a few $100s in Ethereum could buy thousands of tokens. Those moments didn't feel obvious at the time. They felt uncertain, risky, even laughable. And yet the people who saw the purpose behind the noise are the ones who built generational wealth. They didn't need millions of coins. They just needed conviction when no one else had it. That's exactly where XRP stands today. People talk about price targets and predictions, but that's missing the point. The question isn't how high can it go? It's how necessary will it become? Because price always follows purpose. XRP's purpose is simple: to be the bridge between all forms of value, whether it's fiat, crypto, or digital currencies yet to exist. It's not trying to replace banks, it's upgrading them. It's not fighting the system, it's improving it. And that's why it will win. Because every institution, from banks to governments, eventually chooses efficiency over resistance. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. By the time we reach that when, the opportunity to buy 3,000 XRP at these prices will be long gone. People will wish they acted when they could. They'll say, if I'd just bought a little more when it was affordable. But wishing doesn't build wealth, acting does. Right now, you're living through one of those rare moments in financial history where everything is shifting, but the majority hasn't realized it yet. The headlines focus on distractions, lawsuits, rumors, temporary setbacks. But underneath all that noise, adoption is happening in real time. Ripple is signing new partnerships. Banks are testing cross-border solutions. Payment corridors are expanding. And while the world debates, the rails of the new system are being built piece by piece. XRP is that system's lifeblood. It's the digital lubricant for a global economy that's about to move faster than ever before. When that velocity kicks in, demand won't just rise, it will multiply. That's how exponential adoption works. The more the system uses XRP, the more valuable it becomes. The more valuable it becomes, the more systems adopt it. It's a loop that feeds itself, and once it starts, it doesn't stop. That's the hidden power behind XRP's design. It's not speculation, it's scalability. XRP was engineered for this kind of growth. Fast, efficient, borderless, and built to move value across any system. When you understand that, you stop seeing XRP as a coin and start seeing it as infrastructure. And infrastructure doesn't just go away. It becomes the backbone of everything that follows. When the world finally catches on to XRP, it won't be a gradual shift. It will be a sudden realization that the system has already changed. The old financial rails will look ancient compared to what Ripple has built. The same institutions that once resisted will be the ones promoting the very technology they ignored. And the people who already hold 3,000 XRP will quietly watch knowing they positioned themselves years ahead of everyone else. That's what opportunity really means, being early when it's uncomfortable, being patient when it's quiet, and being right when it finally becomes obvious. Because what XRP represents is not just a cryptocurrency, it's a revolution in motion. It's the bridge between today's financial system and the digital economy of tomorrow. The world is about to need liquidity that moves in real time, and XRP is the only asset built to meet that need. It's faster than SWIFT, cheaper than fiat settlement, and interoperable across every currency network and asset class. That's not marketing, that's engineering. Ripple has spent more than a decade building partnerships, laying foundations, and surviving challenges that would have ended lesser projects. The reason it's still standing is because its purpose is bigger than speculation. Its goal has always been to transform global finance, and that goal is finally within reach. So when people ask if it's too late to buy XRP, they're asking the wrong question. The question should be how much longer this window will stay open before the world realizes what's coming. Because when that day arrives, prices won't crawl up, they'll leap. Markets reprice overnight when necessity replaces curiosity. That's how adoption always works. The internet didn't grow 1% at a time, it exploded when it became essential. The same will happen with XRP. The second the system needs it, the price will reflect it. And when it does, 3,000 XRP will no longer look small, it will look significant. It will represent foresight in a world obsessed with hindsight. The people holding it won't have to convince anyone of its value, because the results will speak louder than any argument. Think about what's really happening right now. Governments around the world are struggling with debt inflation and inefficiency. Central banks are racing to digitize currency. Payment networks are being forced to evolve. The entire global financial structure is being rebuilt piece by piece. And quietly, Ripple's technology is weaving itself into that new structure. It's becoming part of the invisible framework that will move trillions of dollars a day. The average person doesn't see it yet because it's happening behind the curtain, but the institutions do. That's why they're meeting with Ripple. That's why they're testing its systems. That's why they're preparing for the next phase. And when that phase begins, XRP will go from a speculative asset to a systemic one. The revaluation won't be driven by hype, but by demand. Real liquidity, real usage, real volume. That's why owning 3,000 XRP now is not just a financial decision, it's a strategic one. It's understanding that when the system resets, the assets designed for the new system will lead the way. Bitcoin started the conversation. XRP will finish it. Because while Bitcoin proved decentralization could exist, XRP proved that efficiency could scale. And in the end, efficiency always wins. Some people think this is just another market cycle, that XRP had its time. But what they don't realize is that the foundation Ripple has been building isn't for the last bull run, it's for the next global financial era. That's what makes this the opportunity of a lifetime. Not because it's the next big coin, but because it's the first bridge between the old and the new. When the rest of the market looks for the next narrative, XRP will already be living it. By 2026 and beyond, the conversation will shift from price predictions to participation. Everyone will want to know how they can get involved in the system that connects everything. But by then, the price will reflect scarcity. Those holding 3,000 XRP won't need to chase because they'll already own their share of the future. That's the beauty of being early. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be present before the breakthrough. The hardest part is always believing when nothing seems to be happening. But that's when real investors are made. The quiet years, the consolidation phases, the waiting. That's where conviction is tested. And that conviction is what separates the ones who watch history from the ones who live it. Every bull run in crypto has had its heroes. The people who held Bitcoin under 1,000, the believers who trusted Ethereum before DeFi existed, the visionaries who saw Solana before it hit the mainstream. But the next story, the one that will define the next decade, will belong to those who understood XRP before the system demanded it. Because when this transformation completes, XRP won't just be another crypto chart, it will be the foundation of modern liquidity. You'll use it without even realizing it. Every payment, every cross-border transaction, every digital currency bridge will rely on it. And that's when the value of 3,000 XRP will make sense. It won't just represent a financial gain, it will represent foresight, patience, and belief in a technology that changed the world quietly before it took the spotlight. The future belongs to those who see patterns before they become obvious. Right now, all the signs are there. Regulation is aligning. Central banks are testing digital settlement. The technology is ready. All that's missing is recognition. And when recognition arrives, it will arrive fast. The question is, will you already be positioned, or will you be one of the many wishing they had seen it sooner? This is the difference between hearing about opportunity and living it. You're at the crossroads right now. One path is comfort waiting for more confirmation. The other is conviction acting on understanding. Only one of those paths builds freedom. That's why owning 3,000 XRP is more than a number. It's a decision to see the world as it's becoming, not as it was. It's understanding that the next wealth transfer isn't about speculation, it's about infrastructure. And those who own the infrastructure own the future. So hold your vision while others lose theirs. Because when the reset hits, the world will finally understand what XRP really is. Not a token, not a gamble, but a bridge to the new financial era. And when that happens, 3,000 XRP won't just be an opportunity, it will be proof that you were part of the revolution before the rest of the world woke up to it. This is Crypto Equation reminding you that the window is open right now, but not for long. Opportunities of a lifetime are invisible until they're gone. The only question left is whether you'll act before history does what it always does. Reward the prepared and leave the hesitant behind.